Welcome to Lesson 3 in Module 3. Today we're going to be talking all about leveraging the Facebook toolset in pixels and custom audiences. This is one of the most important lessons in this module. We're going to learn so much about the ways that the top Facebook marketers optimize their campaigns for massive ROIs using these two tools, pixels and custom audiences. Before we dive in too far, I want to just give you an outline of where we're headed so you've got an idea of what's going to be covered next. First of all, we're going to answer the big question, what is a Facebook pixel? I'm going to show you how simple this tool is and how powerful it can be to your marketing. The next thing we'll talk about is how we can use Facebook pixels and the three main functions that they serve. After that, I'll walk you through installing it and verifying that your Facebook pixel is working. If you don't consider yourself a techie or an IT guy or a coder, don't worry, this is a lot simpler than it sounds. After that, we'll talk about building custom audiences on the data that we're capturing with our pixels. After that, we'll talk about tracking conversions with your pixels. Then we'll talk about Facebook pixel standard events. Facebook has defined a couple of different things that we can use our pixel for, and they've made it really streamlined with these things that they call standard events. Now, if our conversions don't fit cleanly within standard events, we can create custom conversions, and I'll show you how to do that as well. I'm also going to show you additional ways to build custom audiences that may or may not actually use the data that we're capturing with our pixels. This will be a really important section of this lesson because I'll show you how you can actually take your offline sales online and market to people on Facebook, whether that's your existing customers or maybe cold leads you haven't yet closed. We can actually take those people, match them with known Facebook profiles, and market to them with this custom audience. Finally, I'm going to show you the 4 most important audiences to build based on pixels, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. So the big hairy question, what is a Facebook pixel? Well, in its most simple terms, it's a very small piece of Java code that gets placed on your website pages. Now don't be afraid, you don't have to create this. Facebook provides this pixel code to you. If you have a Facebook advertising account, you already have a Facebook pixel. I'm going to show you exactly how to get to it. Ultimately, what a Facebook pixel does is once this code is installed on your landing page, Facebook will automatically capture all of the people who visit that specific page and put them into a separate audience for you, allowing you to remarket to people based on their behavior inside of your pages. The pixel allows you to measure, optimize, and build audience based on your Facebook ads. We're able to measure because now we know exactly how many times people visit specific web pages. Because that pixel data lives on that page, we can now see how many people are on that page. We can also optimize ads for it. Facebook will memorize people who take certain actions on your pages. One of the most common examples is somebody who gets to your landing page and then gets to your thank you page. You know that the people who arrived on your thank you pages have opted in, so you can create a custom audience of people who have opted in. Well, now that you've got this pixel data on people who are likely to convert from your offer, now you can actually optimize future ads based on the people who are converting. Facebook will look at your converters, they'll look at the commonalities within that audience, and it'll get smarter and smarter and smarter about how it optimizes your future ads to find more people like the ones who've already converted. The most common way to use building audiences with your Facebook pixel is to fill in the links inside of your campaign. If you had 3 or 4 different products that you were going to try to sell somebody, if at any point they don't take the action from one step to the next step, previously we didn't really have a way to recapture those people. Well, by building custom audiences in a very smart and predictable way, we can now fill in the cracks. Any broken link inside of our conversion campaign, we can go back in and remarket to those people with our Facebook ads. Now you might be scratching your head and you say, coding, I don't know coding. JavaScript sounds like a really scary word. It's okay, because in all honesty, I'm not a techie person either. This is a very simple process, and I'm going to show you exactly how to use it. Okay, so now that we have a basic understanding of what a Facebook pixel is, now we need to understand how we can use it. And there's really 3 main functions. The first one is to build a custom audience from your website traffic for remarketing. Now within here, there's a few different ways that you can build these audiences. First of all, you can build an audience of people who have viewed specific pages. Let's say that you run a blog and you have a lot of people engaging with certain blog posts on your site. You could actually run an ad to people who view one specific blog post based on the pixel data that you capture when somebody reads your blog. The second thing you could do is build an audience of people who have viewed specific pages but not other pages. We talked about this a little bit earlier in a pure lead gen campaign. Somebody who gets to the opt-in page but doesn't get to the thank you page, we can remarket to those people. And finally, people who have completed a conversion. We can set aside a custom audience of people who have taken whatever our conversion objective is, whether it's purchasing something or opting in for our lead magnet. The second main function of the Facebook pixel is to optimize your ads for conversions. We touched on this briefly, but once Facebook starts to get traction on people who are converting for your offer or sale, they're going to start looking at the commonalities of those people who are converting. Now when we run future conversion campaigns, your pixel is what I call sharpened. Facebook is learning about your ideal buyer or your ideal converter, and it's able to find more and more people within your selected audience to reach with that offer. The third thing we can do with pixels is to track conversion so we can attribute different actions to our specific ads. I've got an entire lesson later on in this module to show you how to test different ads and images. Throughout that process, it's going to be very important to know which ads are performing and which ads are not. Let's say, for instance, that we launched 4 different ads with 4 different ad images, and if we didn't have pixel data on there, we would have no idea where our conversions are coming from. So by using pixel data, we'll be able to say, hey, this first photo that I'm using is working really well. These other 3 aren't working as well. Pixels give us the ability to attribute clicks and actions to specific ads and ad sets. So it's really important to know how to do this so that we can get super smart and not waste our money on underperforming ads. So one of the first things you're going to need to know how to do is how to install and verify your Facebook pixel. So first of all, how can you find your pixel in Facebook Ads Manager? Here's a screenshot of what Ads Manager looks like. You'll notice in the top left-hand corner next to the Facebook icon, there's a little hamburger menu. If you click on that, all you're going to see initially is this darker gray shaded box off to the left-hand side that shows your frequently used things. Now, if you click on the All Tools button below that, everything else that appears in the white boxes will then appear. You'll notice under the Assets column, the third one down says Pixels. When you click on that, you're going to get to a page that looks like this. Now, I've selected the Actions button and I've hovered my mouse over the View Facebook Pixel Code. That's where you're going to click to view your Facebook pixel. And this is what you're going to see next. It's just a basic overview of what your pixel looks like. Again, don't get intimidated by this. All it is code that Facebook has already prepared for us. All we really need to know is how to use it. Now, if you click just one time inside of that code, it'll select the entire thing and you can simply Control-C and copy that. So if at any time you need to come back and grab your Facebook code, this is the steps on how to do that. Now, that's a brief overview on how to get to your Facebook pixel, but I'm going to actually show you how to do it and put it on one of my pages right now. So as you can see, I'm at the home page of my Ads Manager account. I can click on Ads Manager and I can select pixels either here or from the Assets column. Once you've selected that, you can go to Actions and View Pixel Code. Here's the screen we saw earlier. You can click one time inside of here and copy that to your clipboard. If you don't plan on doing this on your own, you can also click Email Pixel Code, select a recipient, and send that directly to someone else who can put it on your page for you. But to continue this example, I'm going to show you how you can install it on your page on yourself. Now, I've created a sample page inside of the landing page builder that I use, which is called Unbounce. All you have to do is go into the Edit view of your page builder. And once that loads, you can select wherever it has JavaScripts. All I have to do is name this JavaScript and I'll call it Facebook Pixel. And I'll paste it right here. All you have to do is save your code, save your page, and republish your page, and your Facebook code is now installed on your page. Now I'm going to swap over from the edit mode to the actual view mode of the live page. Now, how can we tell if our Facebook pixel is actually on this page? Well, there's a great tool that I like to use called the Facebook Pixel Helper. It's an extension that you can add to your Google Chrome browser. If you're not using Google Chrome, I highly suggest that you start using it because there's some great extensions that Facebook marketers can use inside of Google Chrome. Now, if you notice up in the top right-hand corner of my browser, you'll see this little grayed out image here, and if I hover over it, you'll see Facebook Pixel Helper appears. Now, if there's a pixel on the page you're viewing, rather than being grayed out, this will actually turn green. So I loaded this page before I actually loaded the pixel onto it. So what I'm going to do is refresh the page, and if the pixel loads successfully, that will turn green. Okay, as you can see, I've refreshed the page. The Facebook Pixel Helper shows green. I can actually click on it and it'll show exactly what pixel has loaded. Now, if you have Google Chrome and you don't know how to add an extension to it, I'm going to show you that real briefly. Select this icon off to the left and go down to Settings. On the far left-hand side, select Extensions. If you don't already have Facebook Pixel, you can search, find the Facebook Pixel Helper, and then simply download it into your Google Chrome. Now, anytime you view a web page, this Facebook Pixel Helper icon will appear. If there is a Facebook pixel, it'll appear green. If there is not a pixel, it'll be grayed out like this page is. I've created these two fake pages just as an example to show you how traditional lead generation campaign will work on Facebook. Here's my main landing page, and in another tab I've got opened the thank you page. Now you can see right now the Facebook pixel does not appear on there. I have loaded it now, so I'll refresh it and you'll see that Facebook pixel fires and that green button pops up. Now in most lead gen campaigns you would have an actual form. Now just to make this easy so I'm not typing while we're recording, I've just created a click through. So you click on this and you arrive on the thank you page. Most of you will have a form where someone will have to submit their information. So I've got a separate thank you page. We'll re-reference this in a little while and I'll show you why this is really important. So I hope a little bit of your fear factor has gone down after you see how simple it is to work with the Facebook code. But what I want to really show you now is how powerful this pixel data can be, because now we can build custom audiences based on our pixel data. This is what people are talking about when they say things like retargeting or remarketing. The example I'm going to show you is for a traditional lead generation campaign from Facebook. Obviously, your ad will appear on Facebook, people who click on it will arrive on your landing page, and people who convert on your landing page will then be redirected to a thank you page. Now in this really simple example, let's assume that your page is converting at 35%. That means for every 1,000 clicks that your ad gets, you're going to get 350 leads. But what it also means is that there's 650 people who clicked your ad, got to your landing page, but never actually converted. Now, in order to get this campaign to function on all cylinders and get the highest conversion rate possible, we need to implement something called remarketing. Now, remarketing, we can actually remarket to the 650 people who clicked to our landing page but never converted, and this will dramatically increase the ROI of our campaign. This is such a powerful tool because remarketing to this small group of 650 people is going to be very inexpensive. Facebook measures how much you're paying for your advertising in something called CPM, or cost per 1,000 impressions. Now, the cost per 1,000 impressions for every audience is going to vary, but in my experience, it's somewhere between $15 and $30. Now, assuming our cost per 1,000 impressions is around $20, that means that we can retarget to this entire audience of 650 clickers for less than 20 bucks. These are some of the best leads to chase around on Facebook because they've already indicated some level of interest in what you're offering by clicking to your landing page. They just didn't convert at that exact moment. So by setting up a remarketing audience, we can then retarget them with a very specific ad that reminds them to take action. Now, we've said in previous lessons that specificity drives response. This is a perfect opportunity to capitalize on that. You can now run a very specific ad to this small group of people for pennies on the dollar to remind them to take that action. You could say things like, hey, there's still time left. Or if you're selling something, you could give them a coupon code and show them a way to save. If there's some sort of time-sensitive offer, you can really leverage the scarcity of that. Simply create a custom audience of people who got to your landing page that didn't get to your thank you page and run that really specific ad directly to them. This is how all the best Facebook advertisers really maximize the ROI on their campaigns. Now, all of this sounds really good in theory, but how do we actually do it? Let's dive into Ads Manager and I'll show you exactly how. So in this example, we're going to create an audience of people who get to this landing page but never actually make it to this thank you page. The first thing you're going to need to do is go to Ads Manager or to Power Editor and select Audiences. Next, select this big blue button that says Create Audience and select Custom Audience. Now, we'll get to these other various types of custom audiences later on in this lesson, but for right now, select Website Traffic. Create a list of people who visit specific web pages. Now, once you arrive on this page, you'll see that Facebook gives you several options. You can select people who visit your website, people who visit specific web pages, people visiting specific web pages but not others, or people who haven't visited in a certain amount of time. For this example, we're going to choose the third one, people visiting specific web pages and not others. As you can see, they've given us two fields where we can put our page URLs into. By default, you'll see this contains URL selection. I'm going to change that to the URL equals because I know the exact URL, and I'll do that for both of these different fields here. The next thing I'm going to do is get to my landing page, copy the landing page URL, and paste that into this first field here. The next thing I want to do is go to my thank you page, copy this URL, and paste that into the second field. The next thing we need to do is select an amount of time that we want to save people who have taken this specific action. By default, it shows 30 days. The maximum amount of time you can create is 180 days. You also see a checkbox that appears beneath this selection that says Include Past Website Traffic. Now in this example, I just put the Facebook pixel on these pages, so I cannot include website traffic from the past because the pixel was not on that page at the time people might have visited that in the past. But if your pixel has been on a page in the past and there has been traffic to that page, you can select Include Past Website Traffic so that you're not missing people that have gone there in the past. The last thing we have to do is give this a name, and we'll just call this Test Opt-in, and save our audience. Now, as you can see, our test opt-in audience appears right here. Now, to send ads to these specific people who got to our landing page but not to our thank you page, all we have to do is create a campaign and select that custom audience. We're going to choose a clicks to website campaign. We'll use the default name. And now at the very top, rather than selecting our audience, we're going to actually choose our custom audience. Now all we have to do is select our custom audience from the dropdown, and that's it. Now for this fictitious example, I don't have enough people in this actual audience, but this is exactly the process you'll follow once you do have people that you can market to. We do have an entire lesson set aside later on in this module to show you how to measure your campaign's performance. But just briefly, I do want to give you an overview of how this works, how you can track conversions with your pixel. Now, it's very important to know right off the bat that your campaigns will show the results based on your campaign objectives. We're covering this in a very specific order. In lesson 1, we talked about campaign objectives. Just know that when you go into your ads manager and you look at your objectives, you will always see the objectives for whatever campaign you have selected. For instance, if you're running a clicks to website campaign and you look at results, those are not conversions, those are clicks. If you're running a conversion campaign and you looked under the results column, those results are conversions because that's the campaign objective you're using inside of that campaign. In the case of conversion campaigns, you can show results from different types of conversions, and there's two that Facebook gives us. The first is standard events, and the second is custom conversions. So let's jump into these one at a time. First of all, we'll look at standard events. Facebook currently has 9 standard events to give you a really easy way to track conversions based on the most popular types of campaigns. Now there are 9 of these, but some of the most popular ones are leads, somebody who made a purchase, somebody who initiated a checkout, or somebody who added a specific item to their cart. Now it's really important to know that you only want to place these standard events on the pages that you want to count as one of your actions. Otherwise, just use your base Facebook pixel code. In just a moment, I'm going to give you an example of how you can show a leads standard event, and I'll be using the 2 basic pages that we looked at earlier, the basic offer page and the thank you page. In that example, we're going to add the standard event leads only to the thank you page. But it's very important to know that you do not want that standard event to appear just on the landing page, otherwise it will count a conversion every single time somebody hits your landing page, and we know they're only converting once they actually arrive on the thank you page. So the question you're probably asking yourself right now is, when do I use standard events? And the answer to that is when your objective cleanly fits into one of these predefined categories. If you're trying to generate leads, then you would want to use the lead standard event. If you're selling something directly through your ads, you would want to use the make your purchase standard events. And again, we'll show you exactly how to do this. So how do we add standard events? We're going to jump right into Ads Manager and I'll show you how to do this. Inside of Ads Manager, just select and go back to your pixel page, and then click on the option that says Create Conversion. Here you'll see the 2 different types of conversions you can do. Measure with standard events or measure with custom conversions. We're going to choose the standard events option. Now as you can see, the 9 standard events all appear in this menu. You can click the drop down and see all of them. For this example, we're going to choose the lead standard events, and you can see this little tiny piece of code right here. Now all you have to do is copy this tiny piece of code right here onto your clipboard. Now we're going to go back into our page builder to our thank you page. Now we'll select our JavaScript, and you can see I've already got the Facebook pixel in here. Inside of the pixel code, you'll see 2 lines, in this case it's lines 8 and 9, that start with FBQ. All you need to do is select after the second FBQ, hit return, paste your code in there, and remove the spaces before FBQ to where it lines up with the other 2. As you can see, this JavaScript is tracking 2 things. First of all, it's tracking page view, and secondly, it's tracking leads. Finally, just save and publish your page. Now, let's use the Facebook Pixel Helper and see if our code is working. Just go to your thank you page. You can see it says 1 because we had our normal pixel on there before. Now we're going to refresh it and it should show 2. So it looks like the pixel is firing correctly. It's capturing both leads on this page and just page views. You can select the Facebook pixel and see the details of these right here. Now that we've set up a conversion, we can now create a conversion campaign inside of Facebook. And what this means is that Facebook is optimizing for that specific event that we put onto our thank you page. All you have to do is click Create an Ad inside of Ads Manager, select the conversion campaign from the objective. Now Facebook is asking us to choose a conversion. All we have to do is select inside of here, scroll down to where it says leads, and you'll see that Facebook is telling us, track when a user expresses interest in your offering, form submission, sign up for trial, whatever it is. Select that lead and it'll actually start optimizing this campaign for that conversion event. Now in this example, you'll see that there's a red button next to leads. What this means is that that pixel is not actually active yet. If you're running Facebook ads for the very first time and you do not have traction or traffic on your pixel previously, this is what's going to appear for you. Now there's a few different ways to get around this. What I would recommend is to start with a clicks to website campaign, knowing that you're probably not going to get conversions at the lowest possible cost, but you will start to get some conversions. Facebook's going to start to learn the commonalities of the people who do convert, then you can switch over to a conversion campaign. Now you can jump directly into a conversion campaign. All you'll need to do is to let Facebook see that there's a little bit of traffic on this pixel. You can do that by going to this page, refreshing it a couple times, and Facebook should start to see a little bit of traffic on your page. If that doesn't work, I'd recommend emailing this to a couple different friends or just simply pulling up the page on different devices. Facebook will start to see the traffic on that pixel, and when you come back into Ads Manager, you can reselect this conversion type and it should show green. Remember, Facebook allows you to use these standard events for a variety of different actions. In this example, I chose leads. In your specific instance, if you were selling something and you wanted to track actual purchases, the process is exactly the same. You would just have to use the different standard event, paste it into your base pixel code exactly the same way, and make sure you place that pixel code on the correct page after somebody makes a purchase. In that particular instance, you can actually tell Facebook to attribute a certain value to these monetary conversions so that you can see exactly how much money you're making inside of the ads dashboard. If you want to assign a value to your conversions, all you have to do is select this purchase option and copy the code. Back inside the builder element of your landing page, you'll replace this lead code with the purchase code. As you can see, they give you a value here. By default, it's $0. If a conversion was worth $10 to you, all you have to do is replace that with whatever value you want, and just save and republish your page. Now every single time somebody takes that conversion event, it will actually show you that monetary value inside of your ads manager. Now in addition to the standard events that Facebook allows you to track conversions with, you also have custom conversions that you can set up. By default, your ad account should have 40 custom conversions. Now in the past, you used to only have 20 of these and you could never edit or delete them once you created them. Now you have 40, and although you can't edit it once you've created one, you can delete them, so you don't have to worry about running out of space if you create one and then realize you don't need it later on. Custom conversions are based on URL actions and not on events, and there's not any need to change your pixel code. So when should you use a custom conversion rather than a standard event? First of all, if you don't have access to your site's code, then a custom conversion can be an easier way to track conversions rather than the process I just took you through. You can also use a custom conversion if what you're tracking inside of Facebook doesn't cleanly fit into one of the predefined Facebook categories. Now, because this is based on URL actions and not off of pixels, it's very important to know that you cannot track custom conversions with pixel data like you can with standard events. It'll be more clear on why this is when I actually take you in and demonstrate how to create a custom conversion, which we're going to do right now. The process of creating a custom conversion again starts on the pixel page. Just click Create Conversion, but now choose Track Custom Conversions. Of course, you can go back to URL equals. You'll choose your thank you page domain. You'll paste that directly into this URL equals, and now Facebook will track this custom conversion when somebody lands on your thank you page. You can select a category. In this instance, it will be lead. We'll click Next, and we'll simply name our conversion. You can also set a conversion value inside of here like we did inside of the standard events. Now after you save your custom conversion, you can select this inside of Ads Manager or Power Editor as the conversion you're optimizing your campaign for. As you can see, you can select your conversion, and this custom conversion we created appears right here at the very top, just the way our standard events once did. Now, custom conversions can be a more simplified way of tracking conversions inside of your Facebook ad campaigns. However, I cannot emphasize strongly enough how important it is to still have your Facebook pixel on all of your pages. Even if you choose to use custom conversions rather than the standard events, always be sure that your Facebook pixel is on all of the pages that you're advertising to. By doing this, at any point in the future, you can come back, create custom audiences based on website traffic. If you don't do that, you'll never have that opportunity. I would strongly encourage you to generate your Facebook pixel, put it in the header of every single web asset you own right now so that you can start to create these audiences, and you can go back later on in time and start retargeting people who have gone to specific pages on your website. So now that we understand how to create custom audiences based on Facebook pixels, it's very important to know that there are more ways that we can create custom audiences as well. There's actually 3 more ways. You can create a custom audience based off a customer file, off of activity inside of your app, and off of engagement on Facebook. And we're not going to dive too far into the app activity one because that's one that people don't use as often, but we will look at how to build custom audiences based off your customer file and on engagement with Facebook. The first one is your customer file. The process of creating the customer file custom audience is not that difficult. All you have to do is upload your list of current customers, and this will allow you to try to retarget them to sell them more products or even suppress them from seeing other Facebook ads. Let's say that you have some sort of introductory offer that's a better deal than what some of your current customers might have paid. If you don't want to make those people upset by showing them this new introductory offer, you can create that customer audience and then suppress them from future ads you do to make sure that they don't see that lower price. Another use for this is if you've already sold something to these people, but now you have a new product you want to sell them, you can target this particular custom audience even if those people didn't come from Facebook initially. And I'll show you a demonstration of this here in a little bit. Another good way to use this custom audience from a customer file is if you have a list of cold leads that you want to remarket to on Facebook. Now, it doesn't matter if these people got on your cold leads list from Facebook or not, because Facebook will actually find your data, match it to known Facebook profiles, and create that audience inside of Facebook for you. If you're coming from some sort of offline business sales process and trying to get into digital marketing on Facebook for the first time, this is a really good place to start. Another creative use of creating this customer file custom audience is the ability it gives you to use data from another source to take your offline advertising online with Facebook. This can be particularly useful for people who are in business-to-business sales in very specific niche markets. Let's say, for instance, that you're in the medical equipment sales market, and the people that you want to market to are people that are very hard to define within the standard Facebook targeting criteria. If you have a data source that's offline from Facebook, maybe it's an email list or even addresses, you can upload that offline data into Facebook and it'll match that with known Facebook profiles. This is a really powerful tool because now you're not 100% reliant on strictly the Facebook targeting criteria. You can take other data sources and match those with Facebook profiles and create this custom audience. Regardless of how you intend to use this data, the process to create this custom audience is the same, and we will go through that here in a moment. Another way to create custom audiences is based on engagement. You can target people who engage with your video, your lead ads, or your canvas. Specifically inside of video ads, this video custom audience allows you to send ads of another kind to people who watch specific amounts of your video, 3 or 10 seconds, or you can even select a percentage, 25%, 50, 75, or 95% of your video. Now, Facebook delivers video content very indiscriminately. What this allows us to do is create a lot of impressions with a video for a very inexpensive amount of money. Being able to target people based on their engagement with your video is a very good way to create a list of people who have some familiarity with what you do and then send them a more specific offer. If you're using lead ads or canvases, these are assets that Facebook actually controls, and they don't allow you to put your Facebook pixel on your lead cards or on your Facebook canvas. But that doesn't mean we can't retarget them. All we have to do is create an engagement audience based on the fact that they clicked on our lead ad or they clicked on our canvas, and now we can retarget them even though we don't technically have pixel data on them. The third way that you can create custom audiences outside of pixel data is based on a lookalike audience, and this is another thing we'll demonstrate inside of our demo. So as you can see, we're back inside of Ads Manager and we're under the audience option. Just click this blue Create Audience button and select Custom Audience. If you have an existing customer list or a list of cold leads, just select this first option that says Customer File. You have a few different ways of getting this data into Facebook. You can either copy or paste that data, you can upload the data, or if you have MailChimp, you can import it directly from MailChimp. We're going to choose this first option. As you can see, there are 15 different data identifiers that you can use. The more data that you put into this, the higher your match rate will be. To see an example of how you should format your file, just click Download File Template. Before uploading your list, make sure that your list matches the file template that you download so that you can get as high a match rate as possible. The way this process works is that Facebook is going to take all of the data that's inside of your customer file and match it to that person's known Facebook profile. What this means is the more data you can put in here, the higher your match rate is going to be. So you're going to want to put as much information as you have about these people in there. After you copy and paste or upload your customer file, Facebook will begin the matching process. This process can take anywhere from a couple of minutes to a couple of hours. It's also important to know that not 100% of your data will be matched. If you strictly put in name and email address, and the email address that's inside of your customer file is not the same email address that's associated with a known Facebook profile, that particular customer record may not match to your custom audience. The process for continuing this is fairly simple. Just continue clicking through and this wizard will walk you through exactly how to prepare your list. The second way to create a custom audience is based off of engagement. As you can see, you've got 3 options based on video engagement, lead ad engagement, or canvas engagement. The process is the same for all of these, but for this example, we're going to choose video engagement. The first thing you'll have to select is how much engagement these people have had with your content. You can select based on number of seconds or on percentage of content. In this example, we'll choose 50% of the video. So now that we've chosen that we want to target people in our audience that have viewed at least 50% of our video, we'll need to choose the video that we're talking about. Just select the Choose Video, and any video you've previously run will appear inside of this menu. Finally, you'll have to select the amount of time that this person would have had to have watched your video in. The maximum amount of time, again, is 180 days. Then just simply name your audience and save it. The same process applies to both lead ads and canvas ads. Now, the last custom audience type that we're going to cover is the lookalike audience. What a lookalike audience is Facebook looks at an existing audience and then tries to find people who are similar to the people in that existing audience. You can create your lookalike audience based off 3 different criteria. A customer list, B, a conversion tracking pixel, or C, a page view. By clicking into this source field, Facebook will automatically show you the different audiences that you can choose to base your lookalike audience on. In this example, I'm going to choose this 180-day all visitors option. It's very important to select the country in which you want these people to be matched. Of course, in this example, we'll use the United States. Now, the last option when creating a lookalike audience is how specific you want to get. The farther you slide this option up the scale, the less specific you're getting. The farther you slide it down, the more specific you're getting. Lookalike audiences can be a very powerful way to let Facebook do the optimization for you. If you were selling some sort of product online and you had some sort of conversion data on people who had already purchased your product, you can select that specific conversion and then get as specific as possible, allowing Facebook to match more people who are similar to the people who have already purchased your product. You can do the same thing for lead magnets and other opt-in campaigns as well. All you have to do is create your audience, and Facebook will automatically go out into the Facebook universe and find people who are similar to the people who have already taken that conversion action with you. It's also important to know that once you create a lookalike audience, you can still put additional filters on that. So let's say Facebook creates this somewhat of a broad audience for us. We can go back into Ads Manager, select the custom audience, and then let's just say we only want to target people with $100,000 of income or more. They will further get that list of lookalike audience people further and further more granular based on the targeting options that we select. So what I want to do to conclude this lesson about pixels and custom audiences is to show you the 4 most important custom audiences that you should be building right now. The first one is that you should be placing your Facebook pixel on every web property you own and set up a 180-day audience so you'll have the maximum opportunity to remarket anybody who interacts with your pages. If you have a traditional website, just copy that Facebook pixel base code into the header of every single page on your website, and Facebook will start memorizing all the people who hit those specific pages. And at any point in the next 180 days, you can retarget people who hit specific pages on your website. So the first audience everybody needs to create is this 180-day all website pages audience. The second audience you should create is a click but no convert audience. You should create this for every conversion campaign that you run. If you're running a simple lead generation campaign with a Facebook ad, a landing page, and a thank you page, all you have to do is create that custom audience of people who got to your landing page but didn't get to your thank you page, and you should create this for every Facebook campaign that you run. This allows you to give a very specific offer to people who got to your landing page but didn't actually move forward with the conversion event. Now, you can get creative with the timing and layering audiences on top of one another. In the examples I gave you, I showed 180-day audiences for almost all of our examples. You could create as small as a 1-day audience. This means that when you send ads to those people, it will only happen the day after they take that conversion event. You can further layer in audiences by including and excluding specific custom audiences. Let's just say that you have a 1-day offer and then you've got a 1-week offer. Well, you can create your 1-day audience and your 7-day audience. When you create an ad to run to that 7-day audience, you can even suppress the first ad inside of your 1-day audience so that you know they will see your first ad only the day after they convert, and they'll see your second ad between days 2 and day 7. You can get as specific or as generic with these audiences as you possibly want, but just know that there are some creative ways to both include and suppress people from these audiences based on timing. The third audience that you should create is to create a custom audience based off of your other list assets, like your existing client list or your cold leads list. This is especially important for people who are transitioning into digital marketing from some sort of other offline sales process. The fourth custom audience you should create is for people who have specific different pricing levels of products that they're offering on Facebook. To help you more easily understand this, I've created an example for you. Here's an example of one of the most popular digital marketing campaigns there is. Of course, you've got your Facebook traffic driving people to a landing page. Once people convert on your landing page, they'll get to your thank you page. And a lot of people use what they call tripwire offers on their thank you pages. The intent of a tripwire offer oftentimes is to liquidate your ad expenses. It's a very low ticket item to try to get somebody to buy something right off the bat and then use that money to offset the money that you've spent on advertising. The next step inside of this campaign is an upsell. Okay, maybe you bought my $7 tripwire offer. Now I'm going to try to get you to buy something that's maybe $30 or $40. Now, most digital marketers will have two other classes of products as well. They'll have their core product offering, which is called a profit maximization offering. And then finally, you'll have your premium offering. Now, chances are you have some sort of back-end sales process set up to try to sell every single one of these products. Now, there's a downside to relying 100% on your conversion funnel to sell your products. First of all, there's email deliverability. We don't know if our emails are always getting to our people's inboxes to start with. The second thing is we're relying on people to actually open those emails and read them. Well, using custom audiences in Facebook, you can become 100% unreliant on people ever opening or reading your emails ever again. You can ultimately push them through every stage of your conversion funnel strictly through Facebook ads if you do a really good job of creating custom audiences. And here's an example of what that will look like. First of all, between your landing page and your thank you page, there are going to be a certain number of people who don't actually take that conversion event. We can create a custom audience of people who got to our landing page but never got to our tripwire page and send a very specific offer trying to get them re-engaged and take us up on whatever lead magnet we're leading with. Next, there will be people who get to our thank you or tripwire page but don't actually take us up on that. We can create another custom audience. We can create another custom audience of people who didn't take us up on our upsell, and finally on our core product offering. By creating a custom audience for people who've gotten to one point of our funnel and not to the next, we're able to fill in all the gaps inside of our conversion funnels. We're also able to write very specific ads that apply exactly to the behavior that person has taken and the behavior we want them to take next. So regardless of what sort of business you're in, here are the 4 different audiences you should build right away. Build your 180-day all website traffic list. Build what I call your click but no conversion audience for every single conversion campaign that you run. Build a customer audience list based off of any offline information you have on your customers or potential customers. And finally, set up a custom audience for people who may fall through the cracks of your conversion funnel. Facebook custom audiences are one of the most powerful tools available to us as online marketers. And the process for creating them is not as difficult as it might seem. What I'd encourage you to do is to set up these 4 core audiences right now and just spend a little bit of time inside of either Power Editor or Ads Manager learning how to create these audiences. When you do a really good job of creating custom audiences, you can do a really good job of writing very specific ad copy to get somebody to take the next step that you need them to take in order to become your next client. So don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. Jump in here, start using your pixels, start creating custom audiences, and you'll be well on your way to becoming a true Facebook marketing ninja.